Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
All right, Leslie, July 12th, you're back in action, LFA 188. Talk about the matchup and, just the overall skill set of your opponent as well.
Okay, I'm fighting a girl from France. Her name is Jade Durand, I think. Um, I think she's a great opponent for me. She's a striker. Most of her fights been stand up fights. So makes me feel like she's a striker. I think she also competed in kickboxing. She has a lot of kickboxing experience. And yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. I'm very excited to showcase a different style of me
Mhm.
with this fight. So yeah, I'm very excited for July 12th to come.
Have you faced anybody in the past that has a strong kickboxing style?
Have I faced a strong kickboxing style?
Yeah, before.
Um, I fought a kickboxer my pro debut,
Mhm.
and I fought in one of my amateurs a Muay Thai girl, which is a little bit different,
Mhm.
but still punches and kicks. But yeah, most of my fights been, I could say, strikers.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good for you, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, yeah. With your background, that's really good, right?
Yeah, we love to strike.
Exactly. Your opponent Jade, she hasn't fought in like around a year now. When you guys step into the cage, it'll be about a year. You actually had a very similar break about a year, I think, between your second and third fight. When you returned after that kind of year off, did you feel ring rust?
um, Not really. Uh, I the reason I didn't fight for a whole year was because I had surgery. Um, Coming back, that was like my biggest concern was my shoulder, because I had a shoulder surgery, and I never in my 18 years of martial arts, I never had a injury or surgery, anything like that. So I was more nervous about that, but I always stayed in the gym. Even when I was just doing my physical therapy, I would go to physical therapy and go to the gym and always be watching. I couldn't use my shoulder for a lot of things, but I was able to do a lot of footwork, like boxing footwork drills, kicks, shadow boxing. I was able to do all that. So I didn't really feel like I had really bad ring rust. Coming back, I was just a little nervous for my shoulder, but everything went great, and I felt so good coming back. It was such a it felt good to have like a little break in like what 18 years that I've been fighting, always been back to back, back to back. So that was great.
Well, it's great to have the break, but also, shoulder injury is a very serious injury. That surgery is not easy.
No, yeah, I tore my labrum, and I had a lot of people tell me like, "Oh, that's one of the worst surgeries that you can get," and then to come back, it takes a long time. It'll take you like a year, especially they're like as fighters. And I was already sparring. I was training, like punching with the hand that I shouldn't be at 3 months already. So I fought at 5 months post surgery. I beat it by 1 month because they give you like 6 months. Yeah, that's what my surgeon was like. At 6 months, I'll clear you to get back to training, and then you could book a fight. And yeah, I literally fought at 6 months. I think 5 6 months. So.
And preparations for this upcoming fight. Um, you're at the MMA Lab. It's I don't know. What can you say about the gym? It's one of the best gyms in the world. Like who do you mainly work with out there?
Oh man, yeah, we have a great gym. We have a lot of great fighters out of the gym. We have a lot of UFC fighters, PFL fighters, fighters that fight for Rising and stuff. I work my main partners. That you'll recognize names will be like Mario Bautista, UFC fighter, Clay Carpenter, UFC fighter. Um, and then overall, we have a lot of good like coming up people. There's a kid named Antoine Ho. He's fighting for the Contender Series. So I'm very excited for him. Smaller weight class guys, so we're able to work. But yeah, we have so many great athletes right now, fighters in the gym. So, man, our training, our coach, it's at the lab. It's wonderful. Like the people that been here, we have people from different gyms coming up, stopping by all the time. Like right now, we just had a girl, a little team from France come like this last past week, and they had some work with us, and they loved it, and they were like, it was great. We just every time we get new people or people come and try it out, they love it. So we must be doing something great.
Oh, for sure, you guys are doing something really good. Yeah, Mario Batista, Clay Carpenter, those are Antoine Ho. Yeah, he's a phenomenal talent, smaller guy,
Yeah.
flyweight.
Hmm.
For yourself, it seems like there's not many females that are coming up from the gym from MMA Lab, right? Is it a small group of females at the gym?
Yeah, so most of my female training partners right now, there's Courtney Casey. She recently had a baby, so she was the one that was like fighting the few at the highest level. Everyone else, they're still amateurs. I think I'm the only pro right now. Oh, there's another pro, Maria Henderson, Ben Henderson's wife. She's currently injured, so she hasn't been able to be in the room as much. But she's fought for Bellator, and then myself, both of us kind of started our pro careers at the same time, and we have three more amateur girls. They're amateurs, but I'm telling you, the level of these girls, like once they turn pro, they're gonna kill it. Like they're I'm not just to talk, but at the level it doesn't seem like an amateur level. Like I've trained with pros before, girl, female pro, MMA fighters, and these girls are out there. Like they're up there.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I hear when I go to gyms a lot is that the amateurs that the pro fighters train with are better than a lot of the pro fighters, and I was surprised by that. But yeah, there you got fighters that are amateurs for a long time, so they develop their skill set really good, right?
Yes, like for example, I have a really good girl. Her name's Olivia Hendrickson. We box together. She has a huge boxing background, so she has experience fighting and traveling all over like the country and fighting big international, national tournaments and stuff. So she has a lot of experience. And then we have another girl. She's the wrestler. She's actually a really good wrestler too. And she's in there. And we have another girl that does Muay Thai. So we have a little bit of differences. Then Maria Henderson, black belt in Jiu Jitsu. So we have a little bit of everything in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you guys all bring a little bit of your own special spice, I guess you want to call it, to the room and develop each other. You have this obviously you have this long like boxing background. Now adapting that and then having the smaller gloves, how has it been for you, developing your style and learning the angles and it's everything's different. Let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So boxing, the transition from boxing to MMA, I'm still till this day. I've started MMA, I'll say 6 years ago, like fully, and I'm barely getting to that point where I'm able to transfer like the ups and downs of like which it's wrestling, jujitsu, um, striking, because it's not boxing no more. It's you can't really sit down and brawl like you do in boxing because you get taken down. So now it's like learning how to box correctly, your head movement where you place your head and stuff. You can't duck too low because as a pro those knees are coming down the middle. Like it's a lot. So it's a lot different, but I feel like I'm finally getting there, and I'm able to I'm learning how to mix everything up the right way. And yeah, man, just more experience. And I've been getting a little bit more experience now that I this is my third fight in less than a year. So that's, I guess, just getting more experience, being more active in the cage is gonna help me develop that and just reach the next level.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about your last fight. First round finish with a couple seconds left in the round. Take us through that fight and explain, like, was that the game plan?
So yeah, it was. I wanted to take this girl down. I know she was a striker. That's what, kickboxer, striker. That was her background. So I was like, okay, let me wrestle a little bit. And she actually took me down first, and then I reversed it on her afterwards, and once I hit the floor, and I was like, oh, like this is like, I'm I'm very comfortable on the floor. Like once I do like ground and pound, like holding somebody down, I feel very comfortable. And I was like, okay, I've done this many and many and many times, and people have done this to me many and many times in the room already. So this is nothing. So man, in that moment, all I can think about was like my strength conditioning coach, because I stopped her at 4:58. 4:59, like there was like 2 seconds left, and then all I can think was like bike sprints, and I was like, oh, it's just one more sprint, just let them elbows go, and yeah, they stopped it there. So
Yeah, elbows changes the game, right? Like when you can throw elbows. I don't understand some promotions they don't allow elbows. It's like it's a whole nother. It's like a huge weapon that you just take away from somebody, right?
it's yeah, that's yeah. Sometimes like PFL, I don't think they allow the
Mm.
elbows. I have a couple teammates that fight for there, and they're like, ah, we can throw this and fight, and I'm like, it's crazy because this elbows are sharp, man. Like it don't take much. Like the elbows, knees, like those don't take much. They hurt. They'll cut, and even if they don't like knock you or anything, they'll cut you, and that obviously makes start turning the fight around. As
Yeah,
soon as you're bleeding, eye blood gets in your eyes. The judges are watching, damage, and like it makes a huge difference.
yeah. Another thing about your career so far that I wanted to ask you about is, you started your career with a loss. There's a bunch of people that, not a bunch, but like Zhang Wei Li started with a loss in her pro career. I think Chris Cyborg as well. Those are two of the probably greatest fighters of all time. Um, you started with a loss, and then you came back and got a first round finish. How was that feeling of like
That
losing? Yeah.
that every time somebody brings that up, I get the chills because that everything I always say is everything that could have gone wrong that weekend of my pro debut went wrong. Everything like the weight cut, the flight, the getting there, the fight, the coming back, everything went wrong. So when that happened during that moment, I didn't understand why all this was happening to me, and I was like, kind of like my dream since I was a little girl. I always wanted to make my pro debut. Like it was either boxing or MMA, which whatever, but it was always like starting my pro debut as a 1-0. And so that happening to me that night, it broke me and it put me in a really bad spot for a couple months, like to the point that I wanted to quit fighting, just because I didn't understand. Like man, like I had a great camp. I had the like one of the best camps, and I went in there and just things didn't go the way I wanted them to. Like the whole week, and I was just really sad. Made me rethink about fighting again, and I took like I say like 2 weeks like off because I had damage. I had damage on my legs and my eye. I had like a really bad black eye, my first cut ever, and it was just like a lot of mental issues that was going on through that at that moment. Um, so yeah, it made me kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to fight again. And then one day I was just talking to my sister, my husband, and they were like, you know what, you're great. Like my coach, they always believed in me. Like let's do this again. And for my next camp, when I fought my second fight, another great camp, another great camp. I was still a little bit battling like in my head about my last fight, and I was like, okay, what if like had a lot of self doubt. Like, what if this doesn't go the way that I wanted to go? What if the same thing happens? It was so like that fear and pressure that I was putting on myself. And I remember that day of that fight, I was in the back room and my coach was like, "You know who you are, right? Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm the best." Like that's all. That's always what they tell me. Like you're the best. Like then go show it. And I'm like, "All right, let's go." As soon as that bell rang, I don't know something like I literally just like locked. Like I was locked in. And I was like, I'm gonna hurt you. Like, I'm gonna hurt that girl. And I just went for it. And that happened. And I've been having that same mindset for the last 2, 3 fights. So, same mindset till now.
All right. What do you envision for yourself in this fight coming up?
Oh, I want to get a finish. I'm going with that, like, I want to finish. I want to put my name out there higher in the LFA promotion and everywhere. I want people to know who I am. I want people to see what I'm capable of. And yeah, I my goal is to be a UFC champion and obviously first get to the UFC. But like my end goal is becoming a UFC champion. So I'm not gonna stop until that happens.
Yeah, and the path is there, right? It's not like, it's like uncharted territory. You know what you need to do to get there. So all the best to you in this fight coming up, and the next couple of fights to see, because this game moves so fast to where it's like 1 year later you could be in the octagon. You just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree 100%. Like right now I'm talking to you, and
Mm,
who knows, next week already I fight, what, in 2 weeks
mm,
I get this finish. Who knows what's next? Like things
yeah.
are going real fast. They're moving real fast for everyone, but I feel like for us in my gym, my management team and everyone, it's moving faster for us. So
Mm.
it's like that we have no time to be relaxing, to be playing around. Like we got to get shit done.
Yes, yes. Perfect way to end it. Get shit done. Get
Yeah.
shit done.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.